Eamonn Holmes' brutal marriage confession leaves GB News co-star squirming. Eamonn Holmes didn't hold back as he and Ellie Costello spoke about the splitting of Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban on GB News. Eamonn Holmes' candid discussion about marriage left his GB News colleague, Ellie Costello, feeling uncomfortable live on air. The Northern Irish presenter, 65, didn't mince his words as he and Ellie Costello, 31, discussed the separation of Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban. This follows Eamonn's own split from long-term partner Ruth Langsford last year. The former presenting pair had been a couple for 27 years, 14 of which they were married. Now, Eamonn has shared his thoughts on marriage while on air. Speaking about Nicole and Keith's split, the outspoken star responded to Ellie's comments, reports The Mirror. She had said, "I think that's very sad, they've got 2 children together." He then retorted, "None of us know what went on. The 2 of them could have despised each other and absolutely wanted to walk away from each other, and we think it's awful." Ellie interjected, "Well, I think it's sad when any marriage ends," before Eamonn replied, "That's because you've just started your marriage. You haven't got to the bitter and twisted part yet." The news comes as Nicole and Keith's marriage ended after 19 years. The pair, who have 2 children together, are reportedly working out a parenting plan. Court documents reveal that Nicole and Keith have agreed that the actress will be the primary residential parent. The documents also show she will have their daughters for 306 days of the year, while they will stay with Keith for the remaining 59 days, typically on weekends. In addition, they will divide special occasions. Eamonn was speaking a year after his own divorce turned acrimonious. Earlier in the summer it was alleged Eamonn was pushing back on the terms of the divorce as he moves forward with girlfriend, Katie Alexander, 43. It was reported Ruth was eager to get things signed off ASAP. A source told The Sun in July, Eamonn feels hard done by in the divorce. He's dragging his feet because Ruth's got the house and they have a lot of other financials still to sort out between them. He has moved forward from their relationship, beginning a fresh romance with Katie. She was recently stood by his side on the red carpet of the Icon Awards. Katie was all smiles for the waiting photographers at the glamorous event and placed a tender hand on his back. Meanwhile, the GB News presenter was grinning from ear to ear as he also appeared to be in high spirits at the event in East London. It was the first time the pair had been spotted out and about together since it emerged that their honeymoon phase was over. It was claimed Eamonn had been spending more time in Belfast with his family without Katie. John Stapleton's funeral. Susanna Reid, Eamonn Holmes and Penny Smith among mourners paying their respects to revered broadcaster after his death aged 79. Susanna Reid and Eamonn Holmes were among the broadcasting titans paying their respects to revered journalist John Stapleton at his funeral on Thursday. The broadcaster died aged 79 after his battle with Parkinson's disease was complicated by pneumonia on September 21. Stapleton presented on programs including Newsnight, Panorama and GMTV's NewsHour during a remarkable TV career which spanned nearly 5 decades. Good Morning Britain presenter Susanna was seen chatting outside the church with other attendees. Also in attendance was John's former colleague Penny Smith. The pair co-hosted the NewsHour at GMTV from 1998 to 2010. Former editor of This Morning Martin Frizzell arrived to the funeral alongside Dr. Hilary Jones, who has frequently appeared on the program. Media executive and former BBC Director General Greg Dyke was also in attendance. In a statement after his death, Stapleton's agent Jackie Gill said, "John had Parkinson's disease which was complicated by pneumonia. His son Nick and daughter-in-law Liz have been constantly at his side and John died peacefully in hospital this morning." Last year, the former Good Morning Britain presenter revealed his devastating battle with Parkinson's in an emotional interview on BBC One's Morning Live. "Speaking is how I've earned my living for the best part of 50 years, he said last October. "It's very frustrating sometimes, particularly when people are constantly saying to you, 'Sorry, what did you say?' And you have to repeat yourself, time and time again. I am fairly pragmatic about the prospect of this getting worse. I try to remain positive, because what's the point of not being?" The veteran broadcaster had previously revealed how both his grandmother and mother battled with the same disease. Parkinson's disease is a degenerative condition in which parts of the brain become progressively damaged over many years, with symptoms including tremors and slow movement. Born in Oldham in 1946, Stapleton began his career in newspapers before presenting BBC's Panorama and Newsnight, where he reported from trouble spots in the Middle East, El Salvador and Argentina during the Falklands War. He also presented Good Morning Britain, before returning to the BBC in 1986 to present consumer show Watchdog alongside his wife Lynn Fauldwood until 1993. His death comes 5 years after Ms. Wood died aged 72 after suffering a stroke. The pair met when she was working in a pub in 1971 and tied the knot 6 years later. They had their son, Nick, together in 1987. Nick, also a journalist, told BBC Morning Live last week that his father had a bit of a chest infection. He said, "Unfortunately, Dad's got a bit of a chest infection, and that can be pretty nasty if you've got Parkinson's. And I just felt like I really needed to be there with him this weekend and get him some help. And thankfully, that is now in place, and I'm hopeful that, he'll be back on form pretty soon." Tributes have poured in for the BBC and ITV stalwart, with television presenter Mark Austin saying his death was incredibly sad. Responding to the news in a post on X, Austin wrote, "Incredibly sad. A good man and top presenter who could turn his hand to anything. Best wishes to his family." Good Morning Britain co-creator Aaron Gordon revealed touching anecdotes about working with Stapleton in an emotional tribute. He wrote, "John Stapleton was one of the very best presenters I directed at GM.